Efed podcast, the podcast exploring our fantasy wrestling hobby where the wrestling is written, but the characters are real. I'm your host, Mikey Unlikely, and I'd like to thank you for joining us here on the Atomic Dropcast Network. And welcome back to another edition of the Efed podcast, episode 45. So glad you could join us today. Thanks everybody for taking the time and tuning in. No matter where you're at, what time of day, we really appreciate you. Guys, episode 45, we got Greg on the show today at El Perro Ward over on the Twitter machine. He's got an interesting story and one I'm very excited to share. He started out with writing Efeds and then he moved his way over to the Fire Pro Feds that he's working with now. He's got a fun journey and we're going to get into that and much more. We've got a brand new question of the week, as always. And if you guys want to get your news, notes, or interesting tidbits on the show, just hit me up on Twitter at the Efed Podcast. That's where you can interact with the show. That's the number one place to get a hold of us on Twitter at the Efed Podcast. Of course, we've got the Discord channel if you want to hop into our own little Efed community. We've got a hell of a Discord with over 100 handlers in it. You can drop in, the link is in the Twitter profile. And of course, we have our Patreon. If you'd love to support the free show that you get every Tuesday, for as little as $3 a month or more, you can get the show early on Sundays and a whole lot of other perks over at patreon.com/EfedPodcast. And I'd be remiss if I did not mention EfedTees.com, EWTees.com. Would appreciate if you check that out. Our own little site for all of your Efed merchandise, whether you're a Fed, a tag team, singles, or more. We've got one spot to lock it up. Get your own t-shirt, hoodie, whatever, over at EfedTees.com. Well, that's all the shills I've got. Guys, I hope you're doing well. I'm very, very excited about Efeds right now. Everyone, if you were like me, you thought this game was dying many, many moons ago. But it is going strong. The Efeds out there are great. There are ones that are running for years at a time. I would say we're at a very, very healthy point in the hobby, and I could not be happier. Over at DefianceWrestling.com, we're starting a new arc. And I am so excited. We just debuted a show where we had a couple of people coming back. We had a new title introduced. We had all kinds of stuff going on. And we're having a whole lot of fun over at Defiance Wrestling. And the game is going great. Guys, whether you're an RP Fed, Angle Fed, it doesn't matter. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a lot of fun on the show talking about everything that you do on a daily basis. And if you'd like to be added to the interview list, for the love of God, man, please hit me up at the Efed Podcast or in the Discord or wherever, and we'll get you added. We're booking into July of 2021. It's insane, but I'm glad to do it. All right, guys, before we go any further, we're going to go ahead and get into the show. But before we do, here's a word from our sponsors. Please, please, please support our sponsors. They are some of the lifeblood behind the show, and they help support us and help us get some new things. My mic broke a few weeks ago, and we were without. And now, thanks to our patrons, thanks to our sponsors, I was able to pick another one up and get right back to it. Appreciate everyone out there who supports the show and appreciate you if you're just listening in. Now, please hear a word from our sponsors.
Occupy Pro Wrestling, putting the smart back into smart mark since 2012 as we grapple with design and media services for wrestlers, promotions, and podcasters. We strive to enjoy pro wrestling in our community and podcast, centered around interviews with wrestlers and fans alike. If you like what you see and hear, check out the central hub for everything we're doing and the latest from our site partners over at OccupyProWrestling.com.
All right, guys, the Efed Podcast is very happy to announce its brand new partnership over on Facebook with the Social Media Wrestling Association. The Social Media Wrestling Association, along with its 16,000 member strong influence page known as Generational Wrestling Society, has proven to be the true revolutionary Efed company of Facebook. The SWA welcomes written, video, and audio promos for its talent, as well as results provided in live 2K audio commentary and written results. The SWA is more than just an Efed. With GWS, all areas of the wrestling community are covered. From belt collectors, wrestling news, trivia, and podcasts, and Efeds. Check them out on Facebook at Social Media Wrestling Association and Generational Wrestling Society. You can give a search for both. Once you join both, you'll be glad to become associated with the society. And we're going to be posting our show on Facebook exclusively on the SWA and GWS sites. And we're very happy to have announced this partnership with the SWA, and you can hear about it here every week. So guys, go check them out. Social Media Wrestling Association on Facebook.
Defiance, an Angle-Fed boasting 8 years of continuous fantasy wrestling. Defiance offers opportunities for original characters, micros, a standalone website utilizing Backstage 3 script, and a forum hosted on the long-running FWrestling.com, as well as a roster full of some of the most experienced writers in the game. Come see for yourself at DefianceWrestling.com. That's DefianceWrestling.com.
Hey guys, are you digging this podcast? Well, we really appreciate it. I'd also appreciate it if you check out my other podcast. The Atomic Dropcast is a look back at the wrestling of yesteryear through adult eyes. We watch the wrestling that we watched as kids, as adults, with a couple of beers in our hands. It's a great time. Check it out over at AtomicDropcast.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
OCW Fed is a hybrid pro wrestling eFed that combines elements of role play and competitive play using the WWE 2K franchise. Whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox, OCW Fed is a creative outlet for gamers and pro wrestling fans alike. With over 16 years experience producing weekly content and live Twitch events, OCW Fed has a thriving community with handlers from all over the world. If this sounds like your cup of tea, come check us out at OCWFed.com, OCW Fed TV on YouTube, and OCW Fed on Twitch. It's like D&D for wrestling nerds.
Hey everybody, it's Mikey. No, we're not back to the show just yet. First, I want to tell you about my Patreon. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, am I going to have to pay for the podcast? No. The answer is emphatically no. The show has been and forever will be free. No, Brunk, you will not have to pay for the podcast. However, we have been asked by a handful of people how they can help support the show. And we've also been asked, mostly by Fuzz, why we didn't have a Patreon yet. And I quote, "You stupid I can't believe you don't have a Patreon. I will hurt you if you don't take my money now." End quote. That was Fuzz. He's a scary dude. So with that in mind, you can find us at patreon.com/efedpodcast. Contributions start as low as $3 a month. Thank you very much for your consideration. Please get Fuzz off our backs. The EFED question of the week is brought to you by the EWC. The Extreme Wrestling Corporation is the game's longest-running roleplay EFED, having been established in 1997. With over 100 active role players across 4 unique brands, the EWC offers opt-in booking on all of its bi-weekly shows. It's home to Stranglemania and the 4-day wrestling festival known as WrestleFest. The EWC is built on its welcoming community with zero bias and no drama. All styles are welcome. Come check out the EWC today at EWC4life.com. That's EWC, the number 4, life.com. And this week's EFED podcast question of the week: what one real wrestler would you book your e-wrestler against, and why? At UWF Chris Spade, 2002 or 3 Chris Jericho. A lot of Chris Spade promo style was based off of that era, and his in-ring work would match very well. At Armenian Beast, Brock Lesnar, of course. The Armenian Beast versus the Beast Incarnate. They'd better put a referee in riot gear for that one. The ring is going to get absolutely destroyed. Forget that, the entire arena is going to get wrecked. The whole city is going to look like 5 tornadoes tore through there. Amen. At Whammy Bar, 90s era Shawn Michaels. I borrowed a lot from him for this character, and I think it'd be awesome if they were to clash in a ladder match for the IC title if he was ever around in that reality. At New Extremes W, our world champion Simon Youngblood versus Ric Flair at any age he was in the ring. At Real AJ Adams versus Murphy because we have similar styles in the ring. At Kosov Court, An old character I had called Manic Mercer would have been great against Randy Savage. My guy was a technical powerhouse and labeled a behemoth. I feel the styles would have made for a great matchup. And then Randy would have broken your ribcage with that elbow drop. At Greg Ward, our guest today, El Perro Ward, one word, Suzuki. At Better Than You _TD, tough question. Thad's ring style I modeled after HBK with a touch of Bret Hart and Jeff Hardy's Daredevil style, so maybe AJ Styles. Interesting. I like that mashup. At Titanus Sam, I'd have to say Beth Phoenix, Titanus versus the Glamazon. I really need I elaborate more? Also, Beth was by far one of the best blonde powerhouse type of wrestlers. It'd be awesome to see her go against Sam. That is good. That's a good matchup. At Razzles Mars, Bull Nakano. Ooh, there's a flashback. She's been getting a lot of respect lately. I like that name. At Yenzer says, what? This character versus Lufisto. Deathmatch, barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes, two ladies with a technical wrestling prowess that enjoy just fucking hurting people. I think it'd be match of the night, but that may be me being a little biased. Hey, fair enough. Guys, thanks for answering over on Twitter at the Efed Podcast. That's where you can find the question of the week pinned to the top of the profile. Let's see what we got over on the Discord side of things. Over on the Discord, we've got at Megan Likes Coupons. I would book Megan G against Seth Rollins because I don't like Seth Rollins, and I want to fight him. Yes, it's intergender wrestling, but still, I do not like that man. You tell him, Megan. Fucking get him. At Rick. I would book Rick Ridiculous against the one wrestler who could give him a run for his money. Although there may be a slight weight class advantage on Rick's behalf, he would wrestle the GOAT. Gilbert. Gabriel, Ohio versus Old School Mass Kane. Let them rip each other apart with lots of collateral damage caused. Oh, I love that. I love two big guys just beating the shit out of each other. At Seth is Burns. Oscar Burns versus Tim Thatcher. All the graps. Yes. Technical, physical. I would love that. At Cat Cassidy versus Eddie Guerrero. They have similar presentations, roguish characters who get by on charm and comedy, but can turn serious when the situation warrants it. I'd like to write that matchup. You really should. Just write it for fun. At the Matt Loaf, Stacey Jones versus Maiko Satomura. Sorry, terrible Japanese names. They have very different styles, but Stacey also has some Pururususu. Yep, Japanese words. In her arsenal, and Satomura is arguably one of the best female wrestlers in the world. And Stacey always wants to fight the best of the best. Guys, you gotta stop giving me these Japanese characters. I know Japanese wrestling is awesome. It's a lot of fun to watch, but I just can't say them. At the Efed Podcast, that's me. Mikey Unlikely versus Toru Yano. Mikey and Toru would try to out-entertain one another and would end up being a classic non-wrestling wrestling matchup. At Highlander 4H, Ron Hall McDonald, Kurt Angle. It would be a Benoit Angle style match. At Lord Billiam Regal, Matt LaCroix versus Kazuchika Okada would be such a banger. Elise Aries versus Orange Cassidy probably wouldn't be, but I'd pay to see both. At Ravage versus Punk or Ravage versus Kurt Angle in his prime. Sounds like it'd be a good technical match. At Mongo the Destroyer, I'd do Lord Dominicus against the Hurricane. Supervillain versus superhero. At MDG, Warren almost went with the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins versus the Saint of the Squared Circle, the Deacon. But for just one match, I'd go JBL for the Hoss battle and that wealth versus faith angle. Nice. Guys, thanks for participating in this week's question of the week. Look over on Twitter at the Efed Podcast to find next week's and answer in the comments, or slide on into the Discord and there's a whole channel for it.
Hello, it's your friendly neighborhood wrestler, Clyde Fox, and you're listening to the Efed Podcast with the hostess with the mostest, Mikey Unlikely. Big time. Hee hee. LOL.
All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the Efed Podcast interview series. This week, we're joined by Greg, the handler behind Greg Ward, El Perro Ward on Twitter, Greg, how you doing today, buddy?
Blessed, and it's an honor to be here, honor to be on this podcast. I've been listening to this podcast for quite some time, and I'm glad to be here right now.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You jumped on the bandwagon early, and it's been a little bit of a wait, but hey, you hung in there. Your time came up, and we got you on the pod. I'm excited.
Hey, I'm just as excited as you, maybe even a little more, because I wanted to be here, not because, just to jump on a bandwagon, because I've been a fan of the show, and since I've been an E-fan for about 10 years, maybe, I figured this would be a good time to actually get to let your audience know who I am and let the people know who I am, that I'm a cool cat that you should all get to know and understand where this E-Fed is coming from.
That's right. And follow on the Twitter machine at El Perro Award.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah, Greg, I'm excited to have you on. I've been watching you on Twitter for a while. It's been fun interacting. And yeah, let's get into it, man. How did you get into pro wrestling? When did you become a fan?
I would say back when SmackDown was just starting, and me and my brothers, and I had about 4 of them at the time, we were just flipping through channels, trying to find something to do. Then we came across Rock and Stone Cold.
Okay.
And we was hooked from day one. Listening to those guys talk, from Triple H to Mankind to Big Show, SmackDown became like a ritual to us at the beginning. Then it graduated from WWE to learning about WCW, to learning about ECW, to learning about the video games, playing the video games. Our favorite one to this day is still Day of Reckoning 2 on the GameCube. So, yes.
There's a shout out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a rarity. I don't hear that one very much.
Yes, we played that game like it was church, and we loved wrestling ever since. And my brothers kind of grew out of it. A couple of them did, but I stick with it, and I stay loving wrestling because it's one of those pastimes when you just can't get enough of it, no matter what you do.
It's great, man. I love it. Yeah. You got to bleed it.
Yes. And what's weird about it is that a lot of school kids back in the school kids that was into wrestling, their favorite ones were, of course, The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But mine was Triple H.
The game.
The cerebral assassin. The man who created and brought up a lot of stars, made them famous. So he's always been my favorite, still to my favorite to this day, as a heel character, without question.
You're jumping ahead of me. That was my next question, is who's your favorites? Well, was Triple H your favorite right off the bat, or did you just gravitate towards him over time?
I gravitate to him over time because at the beginning I wasn't feeling him too much because, well, The Rock was The Rock.
Yeah.
With his quotes, you can't really ask promos. If he was one of your favorites, because of the promos, I couldn't blame you one bit. But Triple H's movesets is what draw me more to him, because it was methodical and yet wasn't so flashy, but still got the job done. And as a heel, his character really resonated with me because he was the type of person that didn't care who it was, when it was, how it was going to get done. If he has the objective, he's going to take care of it. He's going to do damage. He's going to take care of business. And he doesn't give a damn who he has to go through to get his objectives done. And I gravitate towards that because a lot of people will tell you you can't do this or you can't do that because of A, B, C reasons. But I was the type of person that said, nah, fuck that. I'm going to figure out how to do this and show you that I can do this, even though you told me I can't do it. I'm going to still figure out how to do it. And that's how he became my favorite, because his mentality was the same as mine.
I like it. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Triple H is a great wrestler. He's been around forever, and no one gets up from the pedigree. Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows that. I mean, I'm surprised that I didn't make that as my character's finisher, but maybe I should, now that I'm thinking about it. But, you know, to each his own. You gotta get an original finisher. You can't just, well, everybody copies everybody else. But I figure the pedigree is the pedigree. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Just let it be. Let it be
It's legendary.
great
Yeah,
the way it is. So
exactly. So, what about today? Who are your favorite wrestlers today?
oh man, I have a top five.
Okay.
I have a top five. I really do, because I watch not only NXT, because I don't watch all of WWE. I watch NXT, AEW, of course. New Japan Pro Wrestling is my favorite right now. But the top five, without question, will have to be Tanahashi, Hiroshi, Hiromu Tanahashi as well, Tom Bomb, Randy Orton, of course, Kenny Omega, and FTR.
There you go. Got a tag team in there. I like that.
Yeah, because despite how you look at things, tag team is one of the most essential things in wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
And me and my brothers love to do tag team. We even when we wrestle each other, we love to do tag teams. We love working as a team. Despite who it is tagging each other, we just enjoy working as a team. And tag team actually showed us that you can accomplish a lot of things by working together with a partner instead of doing things solo.
I love that. You're talking to a man who loves tag team wrestling. I've been in a tag team in Efeds now for the last 5 years. It's been great.
Oh yeah, especially when you got one that you love working with.
Yep.
A partner that you enjoy working with.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about it, man. How did you find Efedding?
Oh man, I can't remember the year, but I remember I was 19 years old at the time. And I was in Alabama for some odd reason. I can't remember why. But I was I was on Facebook just scrolling. And a random thought popped into my head and say, hey, do wrestling have a fantasy league like basketball, and football, and baseball and all that? Does it have a fantasy league too? And so I looked it up. Typed in fantasy wrestling on Facebook for some reason, don't know why, but I found these groups and these private groups about fantasy wrestling, and I was like, oh wow, there is Feds. I didn't know they were called Feds at the time.
Yeah,
but I didn't know this existed in Facebook until I looked it up, and so I joined. I believe 3 of them were my favorites. I think it was Extremely Hardcore Wrestling,
okay,
Your Wrestling Federation, and it was something else. I can't remember what it was, but I had a ton of fun on those feds because I get to talk my shit, just do promos, just talk trash, and I was having fun with it because the people that was in charge of it, really didn't do much, when it comes to results or whatnot. It was just, hey, he beat that guy, and that was it. And I didn't know.
But to you, that was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, to me, that was awesome. I didn't know what the hell was going on because I'm 19. I'm young and dumb. I don't know what the hell is Efed at the time, but I know it's fantasy wrestling. I know I'm having a good time. I know my character is, kicking ass and taking names. So I really didn't give a shit what was going on. Except for I'm winning championships. I'm having fun. Who cares? So
is this
that's how it went down.
Is this video fed or written fed, or how does this work?
Oh, it was neither or. I think it was most likely written fed. Just write the results, post it on Facebook. If you won that day, you won that day. If you lost that day, you lost that day.
I mean, for your promos, how did you submit promos?
Oh, I was just mainly just typing them in.
Okay.
On the page. Just
I got you.
Type them in as I go along. And sometimes if you don't have the time to promo, you just talk your shit every day, all day. You can do 24 hours of shit talking and that'll be good enough for a promo.
Okay.
And it worked for me at the time. Because again, I do not know what Efed was. I had no clue, had no experience in it. I was just
but you knew how to talk shit.
Fish out of Yeah, but I knew how to talk shit because I learned from what I saw in WWE when it comes to promos. It's just talk your shit and getting straight to the point of shit. Like, hey, I'm in your face. I'm going to whoop your ass because of A, B, and C, and D. And that's it.
That's what wrestling is at the core of it.
Exactly. And that's all I knew at the time. And that's all I did at the time. I had no idea the world beyond that until, the Facebook feds started closing down and stopping completely. And I was like, oh man, I like this, but I want to do more. Where can I do more? And again, I'm searching on Facebook for feds, and I come across one that was actually active and was actually doing stuff, but they wasn't doing the same thing as they was on Facebook. And that fed was CWF, Championship Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
And I joined the group first, and then I started shit talking like I normally do it in other feds. Turns out
that's not how it works.
So, the Fed head pulled me to the side, and he told me, "Hey, I know you have Facebook experience, but this is not how we do things in this Fed. So, fill out the form. Let me know when you've done it, and I'll walk you through it." And during my first show, I was doing promos differently than everybody else. Everybody was doing promos like your characters at a beach or at a soccer game, or details that really don't really help with the story nor with the promo.
You're putting a setting in there.
Yeah, put a setting in there, but long settings, not one of those settings where, okay, we know you're at, but it's settings like very long settings.
The wind was whispering down the beach.
Exactly, those type of details.
Yes.
But I was just strictly straight to the point. My promos were strictly straight to the point, straight to the opponent, the story, the action, what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. Like I was doing with the Facebook feds, but I knew I had to switch it up. I knew I had to put at least a background to it, at least that, because it would look like my character would be talking out of thin blue sky. You don't know where the hell he is and whatnot. What the fuck you talking about? Just a void of a voice, and all of a sudden I pop up. That wouldn't make no sense. So I had to do at least a background, but I was still doing my shit talking normally, and I was doing good. I was doing real good until not only my life outside of Efed started catching up to me, but the life in Efed started catching up to me. Because even though I was young and dumb, I was still inexperienced. I probably was, making mistakes that shouldn't have happened. For example, I was doing the program with a character, and we was doing tag team promos. I had a team, he had a team. And what I was doing, and I didn't recognize this at the time, I was using basically a slur.
Okay.
And it's easy to think of this slur because it's for the gay community. That's also a word for a cigarette.
Yeah.
So I didn't know at the time that what I was saying was wrong at the time, because when you're in your 20s, you're dumb as fuck.
Sure.
You don't know shit yet. And it took me a minute to figure out for someone to basically pull me to the side. And this happened on Twitter too. And he said, "Hey, you can't be saying this word. It's derogatory, it's wrong, it's homophobic." And they was breaking it down to me. The board and the head was breaking it down to me how this is wrong. And they were right. They was 100% correct on that, for checking me on that. And I give them props for doing that, because if they have not done that, I would have been able to grow not only as a human being, but as an e-fighter as well.
No, that's awesome.
So there was,
you gotta, at some point you learn that those aren't things that people say in, everyday life. And it's become something that everybody's more aware of now. And it's good that you were educated and were able to say, "Hey, I understand."
Yeah. And I even promised them, you know what? You guys are right. Like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I kept that promise that I'm going to avoid, derogatory terms like that. I'm going to avoid it whatsoever. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna, be a total jackass about it. I'm just gonna try to be kind and courteous to others, even though I'm, doing the character.
Sure.
But one fateful day on Twitter, and this when things start to unravel for me between the relationship between me and CWF, is that the same character that I started the tag team program with, we had a little issue that I didn't know was a out of character issue until it became an out of character issue. So, but like I said, I stopped calling, his character a derogatory slur and started calling his characters, I do mean characters, as heterosexual life partners. And I didn't think anything was wrong with that because I got the idea from Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
So I didn't think nothing was wrong with that. I still don't think there's nothing wrong with that because I'm not calling anybody something derogatory or anything like that, because a heterosexual life partner to me is your best friend, basically. And I got a couple of them, not only outside of Efed, but inside of Efed. So I didn't think it was something wrong with that. Now, if there's people that say there was something wrong with that, please let me know and educate me, because I'm, I may be 32, but I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to grow. I still have a lot to experience. So if somebody's would come and say, "Oh, this is wrong because of A, B, and C," educate me on that. I'm willing to talk about it and have an open ear about it. But other than that, back to the story.
But CWF would drop you after that happened?
Well, actually, they didn't drop me after that happened. It's because being the person I was having an argument with about, he called me a slur as well, but not a homophobic slur, a racial slur.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about the one that ends with an A. I'm talking about the one that ends with the ER.
I got you.
So, yeah, that's for the people that's listening that, that needs a visual. But yeah, he called me that multiple times before the board and the feds caught wind to what was going on. And they was trying to figure out, how can we keep these two guys happy and stay in our feds?
How did that work out?
That's how it didn't work out, because that's how I saw it. And that's how I saw they was trying to do. They was trying to figure out a way to keep both good people that's in the Fed, squash the beef, and try to get it to a peaceful solution. But the problem was, he called me the N-word.
Yeah.
There's no going back to that, especially when one of the boards clearly stated there will be zero tolerance in the Fed for that kind of language.
And then he uses it and doesn't get fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the beginning, at the jump. And I was heated about that because, one, you got on me about something I said, which you had the right to do, and you was 100% correct in checking me. But now you're not going to check that guy. Despite, even if he's good at promoing, good at the angle feds, and even if he was 10 times, 100 times better than me, if you have zero tolerance in your Fed, that means zero tolerance. There's no gray area. There's no read between the lines, nothing. You cross that line, you got to go, basically. That's what I hear.
I mean, that's what
when
the
you
rules,
say
that's what the rules say. The rules are there. And
Yep.
especially if the person who was the victim of that is offended, then how are you going to back the other person?
Exactly. But again, they wasn't trying to back him because
they were trying to keep you both.
They was trying to keep us both, and there was no way that was going to happen after that. After that flew out, there was no way it was going to happen. So what happened was I gave him an ultimatum. Either one of us was going to leave. One of us was going to leave that Fed. Either was it going to be me or him. One of us was going to leave. And I gave him a week to decide who it was. And nothing happened. So I left. I left CWF. And I was kind of happy about that because I didn't want to be anywhere near that character or that person or any Fed that he was. If you're going to use those type of slur against me for possibly not really a very good reason at all, because you're mad at me for calling your characters heterosexual life partners, that's not a reason to call me the N-word whatsoever. That's in my eyes. But I'm kind of glad that I can separate myself from there now that I've learned E-Fedding and the world of E-Fed. Now I get to venture out. I get to branch out and see what I can actually do. And I found out later on that I kind of suck.
I think we all learned that when we hit one of the big time Feds. We get taught a lesson pretty quick.
Yes. And this happened before I quit CWF. It was at, if I can remember this correctly, it's the biggest one of all. Hopefully I don't get this wrong. I think it was EWC.
Oh,
Extreme Wrestling Corporation.
Yeah, they're still one of the sponsors on the show.
Yes. I was hoping I didn't get that right because I joined one of their annual tournaments to see how good I really was at shit talking.
And how did that go?
Yeah, it didn't go very well at all. I got my ass kicked, and a part of me was like, "How did I get my ass kicked? This person got all this details that don't really mean nothing," and then I got schooled on it, and I thought about it like maybe they're telling a story. I'm just shit talking.
Yep. There's more to it.
Yes, and that's what I learned. There was more to it than shit talking. You have to tell a story. You have to be compelling. You have to grab the reader's attention. And I didn't do any of that.
You just try to be the better shit talker.
Exactly. And that's, again, I'm learning as I go along, and I was learning as I was going along, trying to find the right spot for me. And I went through EWC, failed at EWC. I went to EAW, which I forgot the initials. I forgot the full name of it, which I apologize for. But EAW is also a big time one, and I failed at that too not because I couldn't captivate the reader. It's because at the time when I joined EAW, I was not in a good place whatsoever outside of E-Fedding. So
that's tough.
So me try to promo each and every week, where when you're dealing with a dope-headed granddad, that's it's gonna take some toll on you for sure. And I tried my best, but I couldn't ignore my world that was outside of E-Fedding for too long.
I think we all get that, and we all know how that goes. And unfortunately, not specifically your situation, but I think everybody hits a moment in life where real life catches up to us, and E-Fedding comes second to real life, as they say.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to do that. So when I realized that my life needed more of my attention, I had to think about it. I was like, okay, things ain't going well. Like, I'm stuck where I don't want to be. I have no money. I have no car. I need to change it. I need to change this. I need to fix this. So it's either I take a break from E-Fedding altogether, or I keep doing what I'm doing and then suffer. So I had to make a choice. So I took a break from E-Fedding altogether for a good, I say 3 to 4 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I took a break to get things in order. And when I came back to Efeding, the first thing I thought about, or the first person that contacted me, was the Fed head of CWF.
Really?
He reached out to me and said, hey, it's been a few years, because we kept in touch. We still kept in touch. Even though I was taking a break from Efed, we still kept in touch. I still chat with other people that was in Efeding on Facebook or Twitter. I was still chatting with them. I was still, talking shit, having conversation, whatnot. But I wasn't in Efeding. I was still taking a break from it. And, the Fed head of CWF, he contacted me and said, hey, the person that you had a scuffle with, he's out. The person you have people you had problems with, they're out. So if you want to come back to CWF, you got the okay from me, but it'll be a lot more better for you this time than it was last time. And he was correct. And he was right, because all the people that was causing problems in that Fed were gone.
And so you had no problems.
So I had no problems. And I was ready to jump right back into it. And I did. I jumped right back into CWF. And I was doing good for a little bit. And then it wasn't till I realized now that I wasn't supposed to go back to CWF particularly. I could have went back to EFED, but my mistake was going back to CWF. Not because of CWF, it's because of the relationship between me and CWF. Because I was going back to CWF expecting a Stars return and a Stars push.
Oh,
and a Stars treatment.
The star treatment, yeah.
Yeah, like I was expecting that because because the Fed had wanted me back, and he was promising me these things, like star treatment, major push, the works. And all I asked for one thing. I didn't ask for star treatment. I asked for one thing, which was another championship, which could help his Fed, and other ideas that could help his Fed. Because at the time when I was taking my break, I was becoming an idealist, thinking of ideas that can help other Feds and thinking of ideas that can actually boost their Feds. So I was thinking of like 10, 20 ideas off the top of my head that could help CWF, but I didn't want to overstep my boundaries or anything like that. So I just suggest one thing, maybe two things, just to help him out. And he was willing to do one thing, but couldn't do everything else because he didn't have that many writers at the time. So I was cool with that. But then later on, when I started to notice the things that he's promised me is not coming to fruition at all, I had to pull him to the side and say, hey, what's going on? You promised me these things, and yet none of them is working. None of them is happening. What's the deal? And we had a disagreement about it because he thought as my character would be a mid-card character and nothing more. Nothing above that, nothing below that. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Not saying that I was a star from the jump, because I knew I wasn't. I knew if I was on a mid card, I'm going to be in the mid card for a minute. But there's going to be a time when I feel like, okay, it's time for my character to go shoot for the moon.
Yeah,
exactly. And he didn't say it that way. And not only did I notice that he didn't see my character that way, he saw other characters that way as well. Because there was characters that was there, or in CWF, that was there longer than me, but never got that push, or never got that star treatment, or never got that world title shot, or never got anything. You know, they never got anything, and it was there longer than me. And I was making an argument, well, what about this guy? If you're not going to push me, what about this guy? He's been here longer than me. He's been busting his ass. He's been, being patient. What about him? What about this guy? Or what about that guy? What about that girl? Or what about her or him? Or, I was keep doing that because I was seeing people bust their ass, but yet get nothing out of it. And that annoyed me because I was seeing the same thing in real life. At the jobs that I work at, I seen people bust their ass and get nothing in return. It didn't make sense for me in the real world.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it makes sense to me in the real world. It didn't make sense to me in the Efed world. Especially in the Efed world. If you see somebody, busting their ass day in, day out, writing great promos, helping out with the Fed, or something. Recognitions, something other than a pat in the back and a thank you. Something beyond that.
Say something. I mean, even if you're not the Fed head and you notice someone busting their ass, say something.
Exactly. And that's what I was doing. And he thought there was some characters that doesn't deserve any of that. And to me, that was wrong. And that would zap my Efed spirit, so to speak. Like, I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. Like, I can't be a part of something that has no growth. That if you're not going to grow people, you're not going to help people. I can't be a part of that anymore. And I just fell out of CWF. I just disappeared. I checked out. And I took another break from, I didn't take a break from from Efeding completely. I just took my ball and quit CWF again. And I went to find another spot. Find where I can, be a part of and grow. And I found some space. I found some places. Seattle Pro was one of the ones where I felt like that was the best spot should be. But I left Seattle Pro because a friend of mine that came out of CWF, quitted CWF as well. She was going to run her own Fed and wanted to be a part of it as a staff. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go.
And at this point, you'd never been staff on a Fed.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I was willing to learn. I was willing to figure out what I'm doing. And plus, she wanted me on that staff because I was an idealist. She knew that ideas are going to come off the top of my dome. Ideas that'll work, ideas that probably won't work. But nevertheless, I was coming with ideas that could probably help or hurt. And it didn't hurt at all. All the ideas that I was pitching was helpful. Now, I would tell you the name of it if I can remember off the top of my head. I think it was Worldwide Wrestling, W3. And before we can get W3 off the ground, and I wasn't a part of this drama that caused the destruction of it, because it involves two people, the Fed head and somebody else that I can't remember at the time right now. I'm sure if somebody's going to remind me of it. But some drama popped off, and before things could really start rolling for W3, because it was a territory Fed, which was a good idea. And I was running one of them called if I can remember, I can't remember that name either. But I was running one of them, and it was based off Lucha Libre. Okay. And it was good for me because I enjoy Lucha Libre. I was starting to get into Triple I Lucha Libre and CMLL and learning about the Mexican culture as well of wrestling. So I figured that would be good for me. And not only that, when I when I run that, the first championship I'm going to present would be the Trios Championship.
Nice.
Because at the same time, Lucha Underground was coming out at that particular time. Lucha Underground was was hot as shit. The Trios Championship was one of the things that I saw in that promotion that was lit as fuck, and I enjoy every moment of it. I said, fuck yeah, let's get Trios Championship in this Fed. You know, anybody can go for it. Any team of three can go for it. No matter who you are, whether you male or female, heavyweight, junior heavyweight, doesn't matter. You want the Trios Championship, go get it. And I was ready to run shows on that particular one, but I also needed help. So I was helping, I was getting assistance basically. And before we could have ideas for shows and putting shows out, boom, something between one of the managers and the Fed, they had a falling out. Everything was falling apart right then, right before my eyes. Have no idea what the fuck is going on. But after the smoke clears, the Fed was already dead before it even really began.
That's the worst when you have such big ideas and you're excited about a project and it just doesn't come to fruition.
Exactly. And it's even worse when it's not your fault. You know, you're just one of the guys that's sitting back and you're looking at like, oh shit, what do I do? How do I help? How do I fix this? And there was nothing I could do at the time. And when my friend who was the Efed at the time was giving up on it and said, fuck it. Like, I give up. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to deal with it. And all that. I had a thought, and I wish I didn't have this thought, but I'm glad I had this thought. But this was probably the dumbest thing I thought of. I said to her, well, if there's someone that's going to step up, let me take over. I wish I never said that.
I believe it.
I wish I never said that. Now that I think about it today, I wish I never said that. I wish I kept my mouth closed. But at the same time, I'm glad I did it. Because I was thinking to myself, okay, since I have all these ideas, since I have all these thoughts, I didn't have any of the skills to execute them, but I had ideas. And I knew these ideas was going to work. These ideas was going to help. These ideas are going to be phenomenal. And I said, why don't I take over? And I did. And I took over and changed the name to G1 Pro Wrestling. And I tried to run my own Fed. But I knew I didn't have any of the skills to run a Fed. I had ideas, but none of the skills. So I knew I needed help. So I grabbed at least 3 to 4 people who were still in W3 or still in my contacts of friends and asked them for their help. And I didn't ask for like big help. I just need one or two people to write, 1 or 2 person to keep an eye on the web and keep the eyes on the rules, making sure everybody stays in line, and another person to help me with the booking, because I could book a match. That's the best thing I could do. But writing matches was something I'd never done before, and writing matches was something I probably would never do because I suck at it. But I knew my weaknesses. I knew my strength, and I knew I need help with my weaknesses. So after I got the staff together, the staff that I wanted together, I was like, okay, let's try to sign some people. Let's try to recruit some people. Let's get a car going. Let's get something going. And everything was semi going well until one of our writers, who I'm glad I don't remember his name because I will cuss him out right now. He just said, "Hey, why are we waiting? You know, let's not wait. Let's put the results out right now. Instead of, hey, let's look at the final draft of his writing. See, did he do well? Were there any mistakes, spelling checks and whatnot? You know, make sure the writing is good, and then we'll post it out. Because I was willing to take my time to make sure it's done right before we just spew bullshit out to the public.
Yeah.
You know, even though I didn't have the skills, I wasn't really willing to just throw out a whole bunch of shit at people and hoping it would stick. Because I knew that was not going to work. So when he posted the results, without my okay, post them, we got negative reviews. A lot of negative reviews.
Ouch.
It was basically a clusterfuck.
How bad was it?
It was bad. It was spelling mistakes in it. The wrong people won at the results. Because we had people quit before the first show, and they was on the card already. And by the time that happened,
guy had him winning.
Yeah, and by the time that happened, I say, hey, pause the results. We got people leaving, so we need to switch the results. We need to change the results. We need to change this. We need to change that. And then when he brought me the final draft, what he thought was the final draft, I looked at it like, there's so many mistakes here. The results are a little too short. It was all kinds of mess. It was just a complete mess. And I knew I didn't have the skills to fix it myself, because I would have fixed it myself if I had the skills, but I don't. So I try to find my other writer who really was supposed to help and really was supposed to stop this madness from happening. But once I couldn't find him, it was too late. The main writer just crapped the whole shitstorm, and I was like, fuck, man. Now I have a problem.
Yeah.
Now I have a shitstorm to deal with, and I was not prepared for not only the backlash of it from inside my own Fed, but the backlash from outside my Fed, from other people just going off and shitting on the product and shitting on the Fed. And I was like, fuck. And there was nothing I can do about it. There was no way to defend it.
No.
There was no way to defend it. I was basically fucked.
Stay tuned for episode 2.
Right.
That sucks, man. No, I think everybody's been in a Fed or has been a part of something that just didn't work and it didn't click, and it's unfortunate. And I'm sorry you had to go through that as a Fed head, because I know it sucks. After
the shitstorm, and I knew it was all fucked up and everything going wrong. A couple people from I would say 4CW.
Okay.
Not the people in charge, just other people that's in 4CW that that are pretty much assholes, basically. And I'm not saying, first and foremost, I'm not saying anybody in 4CW, everyone in 4CW are assholes. No, it's just talking about these few people here that are assholes. But and one of them were posed as a friend, you know, as a person that's willing to help, a person that's trying to help. And I didn't notice at the time, but I was so desperate to try to fix this mess. And he was coming at me as like, hey man, you know, all this is shit, but I'm willing to help. I'm willing to lend a hand. I'm willing to lend my hand as a friend. I don't know you that well, but I'm here to I want to help. I want to help your Fed. And I believed him. Foolishly, I believed him. And when I gave him the keys, the same access that I have, shit went sideways again. I got locked out of the Twitter account, locked out of the web page, and not only locked out of the web page, a whole bunch of people was posting a whole lot of shit that I can't recall right now, but it was like another. Basically, it wasn't a shitstorm; it was a shit hurricane. Now,
It's grown, yes.
right? It gotten worse, and I was like, and from that point, I was defeated. I felt defeated. I knew I was defeated, and I was done. G1 Pro Wrestling was done. It was shot in the head, like without even a warning or seeing it coming. It was just dead, and that took a lot out of me because it was my first Fed that was running. Not only that, even if I didn't have the experience, it wasn't my fault that it failed. You know, I could put the blame on me still because of my inexperience. But as far as killing it, it wasn't on me. Because I was trying to do something good, not for myself, but for others. But I let the wolves in. That's where I fucked up. By letting the wolves in.
It doesn't
and
sound
letting
like,
them.
and you didn't do it on purpose.
Right. Right. And I did do it on purpose. I did out of desperation and hopefully saving my Fed. The first Fed I won. Hopefully saving it. And it went completely sideways. And I was like, fuck, well, time to take another break from Efed again. And I did. I took another break from Efed until I would say 2017 or 2018. After I got married, I'm about to move to Dallas. I figured, okay, you know, maybe I should give Efed another go again. And took a wild guess where I went back to.
CWF.
Yep. I went back to CWF because it was familiar. It was familiar, and it was willing to let me back in.
Sure.
You know, bury the hatchet, no harm, no foul, forgive and forget. You know, I was like, cool, and I was excited to go back because I had so many ideas for more promos, and I went down a couple of notes for promos, typed in a couple of notes for promos, and I was ready to go. And as soon as I was ready to go, I was waiting for that first match. And when I was on the card, and as soon as I was about to write my promo for this match, my Efed spirit was gone again. It was just out of the blue, just gone. Just like David Copperfield just made that shit disappear quick as hell again. I'm sitting there on the computer stuck. Like, why can't I write a promo for this? Why can't I get this done? What's wrong with me? And I was like, fuck, man. Maybe going back to Efed too soon. And after that G1 debacle, you know, maybe I shouldn't be in Efed at all if I ain't got the spirit to do it. If I ain't got the strength to do it, or the time to do it, or maybe I don't have the the will to do it. And having all those thoughts at once, it's like, fuck. It's like a mental breakdown for something that you would truly enjoy doing, but no longer has, meaning to you anymore.
You don't have the drive anymore. The want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was fucked up because I actually enjoyed Efed. I truly enjoy. It was one of my favorite hobbies next to video games. And it was one of those things where I really, truly fucking hate the fact that I lost my passion for it. Not because of my actions, but the actions of others that killed that drive. And it was kind of fucked up. So I had to leave CWF once again for the third and final time. Because if I don't have the drive to do CWF, then I don't have the drive to do Efed at all. But little did I know, once again, I'm still learning about Efed, because little did I know that there was more than Efed than angle feds and promo-based feds. I did not know this until I'm on Facebook once again, scrolling, just checking on friends and family, until I see fantasy wrestling again. This time is on another group that's dedicated to Efed and dedicated to letting to showing people, hey, this Efed is open for people. This Efed is open for people. This Efed is open for people. Until I come across one Efed that's based on the WWE 2K. And I was thinking to myself, this is not angle, this is not pro. This is a video game based thing. I didn't know they had this. Why didn't nobody tell me they had this?
First time you saw Feds.
Exactly. I didn't understand it from the beginning, so I had to check it out on YouTube. And I did, and I found not only that I found one Fed that was dedicated to WWE 2K, I found another one that was dedicated to Fire Pro Wrestling, which is one of my wrestling games of all time. I didn't know you could make a Fed out of that particular game as well. And I was blown away. I was like, wait a minute, there's another way you could do EFED? without dealing with these type of assholes that's on Twitter and Facebook? So I had to do my research. And not only did I found Championship Wrestling Federation. Oh wait, that's wrong. That's CWF. No, it's Championship Wrestling Organization, CWO. That was that was my first Fire Pro Wrestling based Fed that I joined. And it had a Discord to it. So when I joined the Discord, I looked at the information, I checked out the show. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Not only do I do what I normally did back in my Facebook days, was talk my shit and talk how long, whenever, and whatnot, I could still post promos like I did in CWF. And
worlds, yeah.
Yes, and not only that, there was no deadline. There was no deadline, no rush to do the promo. I could do the promo before the show, after the show, and then when I thought about it, after the show, I could promo after the show. I can take a page out of New Japan Pro Wrestling and do a press conference, media room style promos, talking about what happened in the match, and I can progress the story or move on to something else. And that's when those ideas starts coming up once again. Ideas bubbling up, ideas coming to fruition. And not only when I was getting excited about it, I was getting excited for EFED again. That drive was coming right back, like it never left. And not only where I was participating, I'm doing promos, I'm talking to the guys, I'm chatting it up, I'm shit talking them. And before I did all that, I had to invest in Fire Pro Wrestling on the PC. I had to invest. I had to spend my money. I had to download the DLCs. I had to create my character, pick my moves, learn about computer logic, a whole lot of things that I didn't know about, but I picked it up quick. I picked it up fast and in a hurry. And not only did I pick it up fast in a hurry, I learned very quickly how to progress in the Fire Pro Wrestling base. And it was just one of those turns where you didn't know where you was going when it comes to EFES, but when you make that right turn, it's now a smooth road for you. And that's how it was for me. Like, it wasn't, I realized that it wasn't wrong with me. It was the style of EFED that I was in. I needed to make a change of EFED, like I did like I did outside of EFED. I needed to make a change in my real life. I had to make a change in the EFED world. So instead of doing angle feds and promo based feds, let me try video game based feds or create a wrestler based feds and see where that take me. And not only did I make a good decision, I made a great decision, because my character today, as we're recording, has more success in create a wrestler base fans than it did in the angles or in promo base fans.
That's awesome. And it seems like every time that you transition from one style to another, you got that drive back and you kind of found a new niche for yourself.
Yes. And it was like riding a bicycle, basically. Like, you never forget, you never, just fall off the bike and, you can't pick it up or anything like that. It was just another adventure for me. But this time, this adventure felt right. This felt good. This felt awesome, because everything was going right for me. Even when my character lose, everything was still going right for me. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. And when I was enjoying CWO, I said, there's got to be more. And it was. And I joined WCC Wrestling Cup Classic. I joined Outlaw Wrestling Alliance. When they started up, I joined, New Ambition Wrestling. That's on YouTube right now. And I was enjoying my time, promoing whenever I can, because, real life can, knock on the door and say, hey, pay attention to me real quick. And I was fine with it. I can still shit talk. I can still talk my shit whenever I can. I can, step away for a little bit, come back, and everything's still cool. And I enjoy the hell out of it. And I said, well, this is where I got to be. Like, I'm done with angle fairs. I'm done with promo base fairs. I'm going to stick with this, because this is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun, more fun than I ever had before. I'm enjoying myself more than I ever had before. My character is more successful than it ever has been in any other fed. In fact, my character this year has won 2 world championships this year alone. Something that probably would never be done in angle fairs or in a promo based fairs for my character. And all I had to do,
interesting.
Yeah, and all I had to do in the creative wrestler based fairs was just be myself, be consistent, come out with promos, and I got rewarded for basically busting my ass like I always wanted to. So,
as it should be, yeah.
So not only that, I'm having fun, I'm loving it, I'm enjoying it, and that was before this new chapter of Efed that I have right now, which is, once again, I'm on the verge of running my own Fed, but this time is different. This time is more different than it was.
This time it's a fire profile.
And this is because the CWO Fed head, Jack Bennett, who's my boy, shouts out to him. He's been a phenomenal guy since day one. I fucks with him for life. he couldn't do Efed anymore, or he couldn't do he couldn't run the Fed anymore. Not because he didn't want to, it's just because Efed wasn't making him happy. And, you know, he always put his health and his mental health first before anything else. And since the Fed itself became a burden more than something to help him, you know, he couldn't do it anymore. And he talked to me about it, and he told me it's just depression. I said, say no more. You know, I understand, you know. And he thought about it and said, you want it? You got it. You know, you want to run it? Go ahead. And once again, I wasn't too sure about this because the last time didn't go so well at all, like whatsoever. But I figured this one would be different. And this one will be different because not only am I going to figure out how to run the Fed, I'm going to take my time to figure out how to run the Fed. And I gave myself till next year, January 2021, to work out every single detail I have and making sure that this Fed runs smooth as possible. And not only that, the person that I'm running the Fed with, you know, he got the keys to access, and we both agree, hey, let's make sure that we have everything right and everything together. And not only did we agree to that, 3 more people came in and say, hey, y'all need any help? You know, we got experience. You know, we can do this. We can do this for you. We can do that for you. I was like, fuck yeah, come in. And now it's the 5 of us. It's the 5 of us working together on this project that we want to make sure is right on day one, which is Kingdom of Glory Wrestling. And we are coming together. We are, you know, discussing what we want, discussing, you know, how it should be, agreeing with one another, you know, having the same thoughts, same ideas. And we're kicking ass when it comes to agreeing and, you know, getting the ball rolling, but we still agreeing to make sure that we give ourselves time to make sure it's right. We're giving ourselves to 2021 to start. We're not going to start like up and running all of a sudden, just go straight at it, you know, head straight first into it. No, we all have experience of, you know, fucking up. And we don't want this to fail. We don't want this to be one of those chapters where we say we fucked up. No, we want this to be a smooth ride from beginning to the end. And we're very dedicated to this, and we're very dedicated to each other, to working together. And man, I gotta tell you, this is the most fun I had in Efed since the beginning, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. And I can't wait to start this new chapter in Efed, because I know this time it's gonna be different. It's not gonna be like G1 Pro Wrestling. It's not. I don't have any wolves in there. Any trying to shut this shit down, try to destroy it. I got an actual team of dedicated people who actually wants to do this right, and you know, that's willing to take our time to get it right. You know, as my father says, slow and steady, like the tortoise, always wins the race. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to win that race.
I love it, and I can hear the excitement in your voice. I can tell you're smiling and excited about it. So tell us about what is your vision for your new Fed? What do you see? What's going to make you guys different?
For one, our championships for once, because we're going to have 9 championships, 3 for men, 3 for women, and 3 are going to be, you know, basically open weight, including the main championship, the world championship. That's going to be, it's not going to be exclusive to men. we're going to be one of those feds that even women can be a world champion.
Sure.
We're in 2020 now, and if you've been up on wrestling, you know we had this year a female world champion. So it's like, why not an Efed? I know there's some feds that's already doing it, but why not?
It's literally called fantasy wrestling. We can do whatever
Yes.
we want to do.
We can have a turtle be a world champion. Nobody gives a fuck. All right, we do whatever the
That's
fuck we
right.
want.
So it's great that you're doing that, and it's great that people can be inclusive and include everybody in an open competition. I think that's the way it should
Exactly.
be.
And not only that's making us different, we have our out of character section is different. Because even if you don't want to join our Fed as a star, you can join our Fed as a fan. You can basically join in, watch the streams on YouTube or Twitch. We still haven't worked that out yet, but we're gonna figure it out. More likely, I want to be on YouTube because it's easier, but we're still gonna work out that kink. But you can, join in conversations, and just talk to and connect with other people that loves Efed just as much as you do, especially our out of character section. And I'm personally proud of this because we have a section called Will Motherfucking Talk, because where we discuss real issues in a real way. Because even though Efed is our escape, it's one of the things we escape, like sports and video games and whatnot, there are going to be some issues in the real world that you just can't ignore. And you just can't ignore. And some people don't have, that person they can talk to, So in our section, we're giving you a chance, not only to be a part of the family, but have people you can talk to, have people you can have conversation with, share your ideas, like, hey, you want to talk about the president? Talk about the president. You want to talk about the country? Talk about the country. Talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, the way you want to talk about it. And there will be no judgment, whatsoever, from Trump supporters to liberals to members of the gay community, whatever you are, you're welcome to join the conversation and talk about it. To have your voice be heard, basically. And it just don't stop there. We have real motherfucking wrestling talk, real motherfucking music talk, real motherfucking video game talk. There's going to be something for you to do, basically. Or
you're building your own little community there.
Exactly. And it's going to be one that's built with love, trust, and understanding. Because there's a lot of hate in the world right now, and I want to be that safe haven for people to come in and just feel safe, won't feel judged at all. No matter who you are, no matter where you came from, if you're a good person in the world, we want you in Kingdom of Glory Wrestling. Plain and simple. I could give a damn if you are, if you just coming out of the penitentiary, basically. If you're fresh out of penitentiary, I don't give a damn. If you're a Trump supporter, I don't give a damn. As long as you're a good person in your heart, we want you. We want you to be a part of us. We want you to be a part of this family. No. I see no reason why you should be.
I like it.
So, and I do emphasize that everyone is welcome part. I really want people to understand that everyone is welcome. And everyone is welcome. No bullshit, no game playing, nothing. Everyone is welcome here.
Well, where can they find the new Fed? How can they find you? What's the link?
We have a Discord, and the link is on our Twitter page at if I can remember, KO Glory. At KO Glory, should be able to find it. It's gonna be a gold crown with Kingdom of Glory on it. Or if you can't find that, find my Triller page. Ask me for the link and I'll send it to you. No problem. No question.
At El Perro Award.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's just as simple as that. We're gonna have. I'm gonna make sure after this recording, I'm gonna actually point people to the right direction if they need it, and have my page pinned on my Twitter page. That way you can see it. And if anyone has any more questions about it, I'm willing to answer them as best as my abilities. If I don't have the answer to them, I will find you. I will point you to the person that has it. Trust me.
There you go. Excited, man.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Glory Wrestling.
Yes. Only on YouTube or on Twitch.
There you got it. There you go. One or the other. They'll let you know. Yeah. This is a 2021 project. They're taking their time. They're doing it right. I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
I am too, and trust me, you'll be the first person that will let know when the show will start, when the first day is. That way you can tell all the listeners, like, hey, if you're into this,
that's right.
Check this out. And I'm glad. I'll be happy for any and every opinion there is. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, perfect. It's good because this time we're doing it right. We're making sure it's correct and everything is going to be smooth. No, Kingdom of Glory Wrestling is not going to be like G1 Pro Wrestling at all.
Awesome. Well, I think it's going to be great, and I'm excited that you're excited about it. And anytime that a Fed head is juiced up and ready to go, it's always fun.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, let's hit the Discord questions. We got a handful over there.
Oh, wow.
Let me see what
I was hoping it'll be a lot because I saw one on Twitter. I was like, one? Really? Come on now. Y'all can ask me. But I forgot you have a Discord, which is great. So...
Yes. Yeah, we got a handful of questions there, and then we got JCS, our CAW guy. He holds it down and asks us all the CAW questions.
All right.
He's got a bunch for you too. Up first is Megan likes coupons. What's one thing about e-fedding that you like and one thing you don't like?
What I like definitely is the variations. Like it's not one style. It could be many things. You can do promo angle, Fire Pro base, WWE 2K base, probably WWE Battleground base. If you could do that, UFC base. It's so many ways you could do this, and it's phenomenal that you can have so many options. And what I don't like is probably what everyone don't like about eFeds is the assholes. The keyboard crips and the broadband bloods.
There you go. I like that. Oh man. What about angle or promo feds? What's your preference?
I already said it was a creative wrestler base, but if I had to choose between the two, is definitely angle because I know I suck at writing a promo that's supposed to be competitive with others that are more experienced than me and could whoop my ass from Monday to Sunday with that. So if I was going to pick one, it's definitely angle fed because at least even if my promos, even if my promos suck, the story, if the story is better with me winning, I'm good with that. So
there you go. At Gabriel, Ohio wants to know what got you into e-fedding.
Just my curiosity, being a fan of wrestling and just being curious, wondering like, is there a fantasy wrestling? Like there's fantasy basketball, fantasy baseball, football, that kind of stuff. So I would say my overall curiosity led me to where I am today.
I like generally just searching on Facebook, searching on Google, looking for something new. It's amazing how many people just are like, well, I love wrestling. What else wrestling can I do?
Mm-hmm. Especially when you can't be a wrestler yourself. Like, I already knew I was fucked when I learned biology, and when you're 5 feet and towering over your grandma, you're not going to go far in the athletic world. So fuck your
I
dreams.
mean, you never know.
But I gotta take that one back because I did not know there was a certain guy called Marco Stunt in wrestling business.
Yeah, there you go.
So I gotta take that one back because I didn't know that was possible. So I don't know if you listen to this or not, but shout out to Marco Stunt for, showing that the little guys can do it too, just like Bugsy Bugs and Spud Webb,
Shit, I hope he listens.
Yeah, just let them know we appreciate them.
The one we got on Twitter was Kano, as at yuckmouth_Kano. When are we gonna fight?
Oh man, Kano is one of the guys that I'm talking about that's in the team that's dedicated to this project. He runs New Ambition Wrestling as well. He's a great guy, and one of the guys that they won, he's been awesome for me. So shouts out to him first and foremost. But as the question goes, we can do it whenever, man. We got all the time in the world. We got all the opportunities. We could do it tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't give a damn. Like, hey, just you want it, you got it. Let's go. Fuck it.
I like it. Taking any challengers. All right, JCSOCWFed.com. Do you prefer playing your characters online or using the edit suite a la Logic Sim matches?
Sim matches, because you don't know how good of a person is if you're playing them. You have no idea. That's one of the things I like about video games is competing, basically. But that type of stuff should be reserved on games that not involving Efed, only because you might have one guy that's super good at it, knows all the spam moves and whatnot, can take you down within seconds, and you don't know what the fuck happened. But in the sim world, it's even is, you can just watch, enjoy, hopefully cheer and boo, be frustrated, be like, damn, you beat me again, or yes, I got that win. You can have that excitement with the sim, but not with just playing, because you never know who is really good and who's really shitty at the game. So the sim is at least fair.
Sure, and I mean, I guess at least everybody has a chance.
Exactly.
Right. So, Hope Dope is Fire Pro Logic.
No, not really. But
okay, what do you think about? Go ahead.
You said how dope is it? Is that what?
Oh, I guess that's probably what he meant to say. As how dope is Fire Pro Logic?
It's pretty good, because the computer logic is up to you. It's on you. It's not on the Fed heads. It's not up to the boards. It's on you. So if your character can't fight worth a shit, it's your fault. So that's how dope it is, because it's one of those type of things that depends on you, depends on how your wrestler should act or how your wrestler should fight. So that's how I see it, and that's how I like it more and more the more I think about it, because if you don't like something, you can tweak it, you can adjust to it, because you're not going to get it perfect now. That's impossible. But when you get to that logic where, okay, I'm satisfied with this. I'm not going to win all the time, but I'm satisfied with this logic. That's when it's going to be fun for you, and it's going to take you places, basically, whether you win or lose.
Interesting. What do you think about Movecraft and Partcraft, and have you used them in any of your films?
I haven't used any of them, and I'm up for it, because I've seen people create moves that's not on the game, that's in real life. I've seen people create moves that's looks dope as hell. I've seen people create entrances, angles with it. I mean, it's truly phenomenal. It's one of those good things that they created. I can't use it worth for shit because I haven't figured out. I still haven't figured out the game per se. I can't. I tried to play against the computer, got my ass kicked, and I was like, "Fuck it, let me just stick with the Fed." But yeah, man, it's pretty dope, and I hope they expand on it. But because a lot of people has a lot of creativities, and if you could create a Hadouken in Fire Pro Wrestling, that's pretty fucking dope. No matter who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one on Twitter too.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
I was like, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, real deal. Do it. Go ahead. Fuck it.
I mean, if it can happen,
If it can happen, it can happen.
Whatever.
So it's fantasy wrestling. So anything can happen.
What are some of the challenges you use with using Fire Pro?
The challenges will be definitely the logic. The logic is the best and the most challenging thing about it because you want to make sure that your character ain't shitty, but you want to make sure your character is not a juggernaut too, making it unfair for others. So you got to find that balance, and it's tough. Like I think with my character, I'm good, but I still feel like the work needs to be done. I'm not sure where, but there's a couple of people that's been doing it longer than me, giving me advice and teaching me other things that I didn't know about. So it's good. I mean, it's good that I'm receiving and I'm still learning a lot from these type of feds, and it's just fantastic. But it's still challenging at the same time because you really don't want to be shitty, or you don't want to be that too good. You gotta keep it right in the middle. Just keep it right in the middle, and everything's be fine. But it's hard to find that middle.
I'm sure, yeah. What do you think about the Fire Pro mod scene? Do you think these mods help enhance your Fed?
That one I'm not so sure of, but I'm not gonna go against it. If it helps the Fed, it helps the Fed. If it don't, it don't. But I'm willing to see how it works. So,
Any tips for someone who's looking to start a Fire Pro based league?
If you do not know how to use Twitch or YouTube, learn that first. Learn how to use those tools first. Learn how to record first, and basically get that down pack, because that's going to be essential for you. Whether it's Twitch or YouTube, because you want people to be able to see your product, but you don't want to be all messy and everything like that. You want things to be smooth and correct all the time. So I definitely would say learn those things first, and then right after that, get yourself someone that can help you, because not every day you're going to be able to run the Fed every single day. There's going to be times where you're going to have to stop and take care of some business, like dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, the birth of your child, or your wedding day, or things like that. You're going to need someone that can help you take over while you're dealing with shit. So get you help, and learn YouTube and Twitch will be the main two things I would say.
It's not bad advice at all. What are some of your most memorable matches in e-wrestling?
I have two of them. One from CWF and one that I recently had. One in CWF when I won my first tag team championship with Akira Razor. Shout out to Akira Razor first and foremost. That's the character name. Also shout out to Bill, who is the handler of that character. He's also a good guy. should be world champion by now, like multiple times. But that's
Hint, hint.
yeah,
Wink, wink.
but that's a story for another time. But he's a good guy, and we won the tag team championships, and we thought of a really badass name, man. We call ourselves Made in Detroit because we both from Detroit. We love Detroit. We love the city. We love the people. And man, teaming with him as a tag team was a great ride. I regret breaking that up because I wanted to go further along. I regret that because we was about to be a special tag team, and I fucked that up before knowing how great we can be. So I regret that. But I would say, hey man, Bill, if you're listening, come down to Kingdom of Glory, please, so we can start this bad boy right back up and pick it up where we left off, man, because that shit, I love that shit, and I would love to have it in Kingdom of Glory. And the recent one I had was the fact that my character, and I witnessed my character win not one world championship, but 2 world championships. Within, I want to say, within 3 months. Yeah, within 3 months of, I think it was, June and July. Like between those two is where he won both world championships from one company that was just starting up, and he became the first world champion for them. And another one was in New Ambition Wrestling, and he won a championship for that. And I witnessed both of them. I believe I still have them saved either in my phone or in my computer, but I have them saved because those were special moments for me because there was my first world championships that I won. And it was phenomenal to me because I didn't think I would get to that level this soon when I'm just transferring from Angle Feds. And not only that, I made my character have a proclamation that he was going to be a world champion by the end of 2020. I didn't know it was going to be earlier than that. I expected my character to at least be a world champion by December, but it happened in June, so it was phenomenal to me. So
that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I spent almost 20 years in the upper mid card and then finally won the big one this past year, so I get it. It's big. So up next, what's the worst match you've seen in Fire League or any other league?
Oh man, the worst one. I can't put a particular one to it, so I'm just gonna say my first G1 Pro Wrestling match card, the whole show. That as the worst one because this because it was a whole shitstorm and something.
The shit
hurricane. So that was the worst. So I mean, I had some. I was in a squash match in CWF, but that doesn't come close to the shit hurricane I experienced. So
I think that's going to be the new hashtag. Hashtag
yes.
shit hurricane.
And if it is, credit goes to El Pedro because no one could experience that type of shit and still keep going in Efed. Like if you've been through a shit hurricane, and still doing Efed, I applaud you. Big ups to you. Mad respects. Cause you're just like me. You just been hit by a storm of bullshit, and yet you still here, still doing something that you love. Instead of saying fuck it, I'm just gonna smoke weed and fuck everything else. By the way, at this point, I am smoking weed. It's just that, fuck it.
Shit. I do. Do you prefer running the show or being part of the action?
Both. I prefer both because today, when I was, not today, but a couple weeks ago when I was telling the guys about the championships I want, I thought about so many things that my character can go for. And I wanted my character to go for the trios championship. I wanted my character to go for the junior heavyweight championship. I wanted my character to go for the open weight championship. I wanted my character to go through every other championship first before going to the world championship. Because being a world champion is cool and all, but to me, being the first character or the first guy to win every championship, then the world championship, seems a bit more for me. Because even though I might be running the show, I'm still a hungry competitor.
Absolutely, and you've got history as both the Fed head and handler.
Yes.
So for you, it's just what do I feel like doing?
Exactly,
today?
and not only that, if there's some shit storm coming, I could be like, okay, pause right here. We're gonna stop right here, and before shit gets out of control, because one thing's for sure, I'm not gonna let my same mistakes happen twice. That's been my life, my entire life. I had never made the same mistake twice, and I refuse to do that in Efed. So that's why I'm taking my time, making sure everything is A1 before the first show.
I like it. That's the way it should be. You see so many feds just say, "Hey, we're opening next week," and then they never have a show.
Right, and not only that, they get burned out pretty quickly, easily.
Yeah, easily.
And you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're not burning yourself out, and not only not burning yourself out, you're also making sure that everyone's having fun. That's the one thing. You want to make sure that everyone is having fun.
This is a game.
Because that's it. That's, at the end of the day, it's a game. It's not something you can take it seriously if you want to, but don't take it to the point where you threatening someone's life. It ain't that serious.
Yeah, it's a game. Come on, guys.
To me, Efed is like Popeye's chicken sandwich. It's good, but not worth kicking someone's ass. Right.
Dying for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Last question from JCS, and shout out to JCS for all the questions. Appreciate it. A little shout out for OCWFed.com.
Yeah, and I'm
competitive.
Right. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to say shout out to everyone who asked the question, and I really do appreciate it. Any question, all questions. Love you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. And here's the last one for us. It's a good one to go out on. Your bio says you're a father. How do you balance life, video games, and e-wrestling?
Man, I gotta tell you, because I'm a father in real life. I'm married, and I have a good wife and a great kid. I got another one on the way, and thank you. Fatherhood has been easily, hands down, the greatest thing I ever done in my entire life. I love being a dad. I mean, it's just one of those things that, fuck, man. If everything is, I can lose everything right now. As long as I still got my wife and kid, I'm straight. I don't need anything else. Fuck it. Fuck the cars, fuck the house, fuck the job, fuck the money, fuck it. As long as I still got my wife and kids, I'm good. I'm straight.
Preach it. Shit, I need to think more of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, but to balance it out, it's going to be challenging, of course. It's not going to be easy being a dad, being a video gamer, and being an e-fetter. It's not going to be easy. But you just need to find a way to take time out for yourself. Take advantage of when your kids are eating. Take advantage when your kids are sleeping. Take advantage when your wife is not bugging you about the goddamn trash. But, take advantage of any and every opportunity that you have. Not only that, be able to do both. Multitask. Learn to multitask. Learn the promo and watch the kids. Learn the promo and cook some food. Learn the promo and change the diapers. Learn to do it all. Learn to try to do it all. Because, hey, sometimes you have no choice but to do it all.
No doubt.
So,
no doubt.
yeah,
about
might as
that.
well learn. Like, as of right now, my kids are, my wife and kid is in the house. I'm in the car. Because, well, I just tell them, hey, I gotta make a phone call. So y'all stay in there. I'll stay in the car. I'll be back.
I gotta tell my kids, hey, I'm gonna be podcasting. Be
Yeah.
quiet. And then I just give them a bunch of candy tomorrow.
Yeah. So stuff like that you have to do.
It's good, man. It is, and you got to find time. And if you want to keep wrestling, you will find the time. If you got the passion and you love the game, you'll find
exactly. It's the same thing I do with video games, TV. If I got the passion for it, I'm going to do it. Like, there's nothing in this world you cannot do if you really want to do it. If you really want to do it, you'll do it. No questions asked.
There it is. And that's a good thing to go out on. Greg, before we let you go, anything else you want to put over, plug, promote?
Other than Kingdom of Glory Wrestling, shout out to New Ambitions Wrestling, Outlaw Wrestling Alliance, Wrestling Cup Classic. These are on Discord and on Twitter. Just I'll probably put in the links for every single one of them that I'm plugging in right now. And the point you guys to the right directions, because they have shows on Twitch and they have shows on YouTube. You can check out their products anytime you want. And not only that, I want to also say shouts out to all my followers that's on Twitter right now, whether we in character or out of character. You guys are awesome. Love y'all to death. Definitely you, Mikey, for giving me this opportunity to do this podcast, to do this episode, to do this interview. I appreciate it very much from the bottom of my heart. You the truth on this one. And, and
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Last but not least, to all the fans that's out there right now, all the fans that I'm not a part of, that I've been a part of, CWF, EWC, EAW, Seattle Pro, Full Force Pro, which I wanted to be a part of, but y'all never let me, but it's all good. Love y'all still. And all the other ones that's out there that's, making this game that we truly love a great place to be, because I can't think of anything I'd rather do right now than Efed right now. So I appreciate every single one of y'all that's in the community that's doing their best and making this a great sport to be part of. So gracias, arigato, thank you, and that's it.
And that was a lot of fun. I want to thank Greg for coming on the show, talking to us about his journey, how everything's gone from back in the group days, all the way to the written RPs, all the way back to the Fire Pro Feds, and now running his own Fed again. It's going to be some exciting stuff for him coming up in the future, and I hope you guys stay tuned to that. I'm sure we'll talk to Greg again next year. Meanwhile, guys, thanks for tuning into the Efed podcast. I want to thank all of our sponsors. I want to thank all of our patrons. I want to thank our patron sponsor, Occupy Pro Wrestling. They're a lot of fun over there. Check out OccupyProWrestling.com. Check out the EWC4Life.com. Check out DefianceWrestling.com. Check out OCWFed.com. There's so many good eFeds out there, guys. There's something for everybody. Get with it or get out. I hope to see you on Twitter over at the eFed Podcast. Hope to see you in the Discord. That link is in the Twitter. Hope to see you over on the Patreon, patreon.com/eFed Podcast. Man, I'm running wild. Hope to see you everywhere. What you gonna do, brother, when the eFed Podcast goes running wild on you? Okay, maybe we should do a wrestling impressions contest or something. Give something away. That'd be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for that or some other weird idea I have kind of like that. Otherwise, for Brian, I'm Mikey. Thanks for tuning in to the Efed podcast, where the wrestling is written, but the characters are real.
On Patreon.